Hello everybody, welcome back. This is Tamara with the Knitting Lab. I'm here because I am going to show those of you who are working on their perfect summer tee how to join their piece into the round so that they can start working in a circle. At this point, if you're ready to work in the round, that means you've finished rows 9 and 10 and you are ready to work row 11, or you've finished row 11. So row 11 has you make one new stitch by doing a cable cast on stitch. And I'm gonna bring this guy right up in front of you. And oh, so beautiful and clear today. So right here, this little bitty, this stitch, this very first stitch was done by the cable cast on, or by me creating a cable cast on stitch. And that's this first stitch. And then after I did that, it was on the left hand needle. I went ahead and knit that stitch, and I went through and I followed the instructions for the typical raglan increase as instructed. And this is row 11. You make one with your cable cast on. You work through the whole row doing the typical raglan increase. And you get to the very end, and it says, using the cable cast on one stitch at the end. So here's the end, and here's the yarn coming off of it. And guess what? I did not create a new stitch using the cable cast on at the end here. But what I'm going to do is create that stitch by making that cable cast on into the beginning of the round. So I'm coming from the last stitch. Here's my working yarn, sliding this guy forward, and now I'm going to go in between the new first stitch from when I created that new first stitch. I'm going to go in between stitch 1 and 2. Now I'm not in the stitch, I'm in between the two, and I am going to wrap my yarn, bring it through. And do you see this big space? I'm going to pull on my yarn until it shortens that. Now I'm going to slide the new stitch on the needle. And guess what? I'm going to take it off and do it again so you can see it one more time. And there we go. So here is the first stitch. I'm going in between these two. Wrap. I like to keep the piece close together, bring it through, and I slide it on the needle, and at the same time I pull any slack in that stitch, and now I'm going to remove that stitch and pull it up. See, I don't want a big gap between these two. Now I've created the last of those two new stitches, and I'm going to begin working in the round, which is what you do on the next round, which is a non-increase round. It's a plain round. And then the next stitch, and then the next row becomes a shaping round. So I want you to see that I'm going to go in between these two because they're very close together. And I'm going to first knit. I got to give myself a little more slack because I kept that really snug. I'm going to go in here and knit the first stitch. And if you want to put a marker, you could consider putting the marker right between this one and this one, because that would be the true center. And now I'm knitting the second stitch. I want to show you what that looks like when I'm done. I've knit those two. I'm going to go ahead and knit a few stitches of the round. So you will just be knitting. You can use a removable marker, but I personally don't want a marker that's very thick because I'm concerned about it creating more space in between those two. So now you can see my work is joined. Now it's only joined by one stitch, so it's a little thread, but I made sure that my piece here was not twisted so that the whole thing is situated correctly. And I keep knitting, and this is that center space. You'll notice the last stitch has a strand that's a little bit elongated, Try not to let that hang you up. Don't worry about it, okay? Yes, this first stitch right there, which was the last stitch of the original round, is a little bit long. But guess what? I'm going to pull out the finished sample. Here we are. And this right here is where those 2 new stitches were. Right here and here. And even looking at it close, you have to look at it pretty carefully, but I promise when you're wearing it, nobody's going to see that. In addition, the I-cord bind off that we have right there takes up the edge. So the far, the real far edge here, those stitches are picked up when we do this I-cord bind off. So that's what it looks like once it's finished. And even before you do that, this is what it looks like when you start knitting. After you get another round or two, you will feel like the connection is a little more stable between these two. Okay, so you can place your marker there or wait till you complete it. And then you will keep working until it's time to separate the sleeves from the body. All right, and then you can stay tuned for that, and I will record a video for that as well. All right, happy knitting. Bye, folks.